Okay, so the next video in our build up to the main ratio question, we're just going to practice some skills with sharing ratios. Again, only 2 examples here, but hopefully you should get the idea pretty quick. So a shop sells 3 types of fruit: apples, pears and bananas. The ratio of each type of fruit was A, P, B, 4 to 3. So I'm just going to highlight that so it's clear to me. There was a total of 45 fruit in the shop. How many of each type of fruit were there? So the first thing you always need to do with these sharing ratios, we need to find out what the total shares is. So the total shares, we take our ratio and we add them all together. So our total share here is 9. Then the next thing we want to do is find the value of 1 share. So 9 shares total is going to be that 45 fruit. I want to find out how many fruit is going to be in 1 share. So I take that 45 value and I divide it by my total shares. So 1 share has a value of 5. So every share I have, that is going to be 5 fruit. And now I can find out what each of my apples, pears and bananas have. So firstly, my apples, I have 4 shares and I times it by the value of 1. So I have 20 apples. My banana, I have 2 shares of it. Oh, not banana next, it was pear next. My pear, I have 2 shares of it, so I'll times it by the value of 1 share. So I have 10 pears. And then my banana, I have 3 shares of it, so I times it by 5. And so I have 15 bananas. And that's me all done. And I can always check, and the way to do that is if I take my answers here and add them together, I get 45, which then shows that I've probably correctly done that sharing of our 45 up here. Okay, so next example then. A plane has 3 different types of seat, X, Y and Z. The ratio of the number of each type of seat was X, Y, Z 2, 5, 3. If there were 350 seats, how many are there of each seat type? Okay, it's the same idea before. We want to find out our total shares. So we add our numbers in our ratio together. Then we want to find the value of 1 share. I'm just going to lower that down just a little bit, just space it out a bit more. So I take that total number, that 350, and I divide it by the total number of shares. So 1 share has the value of 35. And now I can find out how much of each thing I have. So X normally has 2 shares, so I times 2 by 35. So I'll have 70 seats. Y has 5 shares, and I times that by 35, and that's going to be 175. And Z has 3 shares, so I times that by 35, and that's going to give me 105. Yeah, and then that is basically just it. I'm just going to quickly double check my 5 times 35. Yep, I was correct with that. And yeah, that's all you need to do for these.